The courtroom was already tense. Rashida had just walked in with her legal team, head held high, red folder in hand, ready to finalize the divorce that had the entire city buzzing. Cameras weren't allowed inside, but that didn't stop the whispers, the stares, the silent judgments. And just when it seemed like things were going to move quietly, a pair of heels clicked through the hallway like a warning shot. It was Jasmine, not on the list, not expected, but she came anyway, unbothered, uninvited, and holding something in her hand that would shake the room before the judge even opened his mouth. Rashida turned. Kirk froze. Jasmine smiled. Then she said 5 words that turned the entire courtroom upside down. "This divorce ain't the end." And just like that, the next chapter began, not in love, not in peace, but in war. The room was quiet, the kind of quiet that clings to the walls like heat during a blackout. Even the fluorescent lights above buzzed softer, dimmed by the tension thickening every breath. Rashida sat on the left side of the courtroom bench, flanked by her powerhouse lawyer Tasha Duval, the same woman who froze Kirk's hidden assets just weeks earlier. Rashida didn't fidget. Her nails were flawless, her energy calm, focused, calculated. Kirk, on the other hand, looked like he hadn't slept in 3 days. And maybe he hadn't. Rumors were swirling that his fraud case was deepening, with whispers of a second hidden account emerging just days before this hearing. His own legal counsel, a slick-talking man named Victor Malone, sat beside him, sweating bullets in a tailored suit that didn't quite hide the panic in his posture. This wasn't just a divorce. This was a brand war, a legacy dispute, a power shift. But before the judge could even speak, the courtroom doors swung open. Click, clack, click, clack. All heads turned, and there she was. Jasmine Washington, hair laid, burgundy power dress, lip gloss popping like she'd stepped out of a reunion taping. But it wasn't her outfit that made everyone go still. It was what she held in her hand. A sealed, manila envelope. Thick, heavy. Marked confidential Tasha. Duval turned to Rashida and whispered something. Rashida didn't blink. Her eyes locked on Jasmine, jaw tight, lips sealed. "Kirk," he sat up, hands clenched. You could see the sweat behind his ears. The judge cleared his throat. "Ma'am, you're not listed in this proceeding." "Please." Jasmine raised a single finger. "With all due respect, Your Honor, this affects the proceedings directly." The judge blinked. "And you are?" She smiled. "Jasmine Washington, the mother of Kirk Frost's child. And I have documents that prove this divorce isn't what it seems." The entire room shifted. Someone in the back gasped. A court clerk dropped their pen. Kirk leaned forward. "Jasmine, what are you doing?" "Something I should have done years ago," she snapped. Never breaking eye contact with Rasheeda. The judge raised his hand. "Ms. Washington, please approach the bench." Jasmine strutted forward, heels echoing like gunshots, and placed the envelope before the judge. He opened it slowly, expression neutral, until he pulled out the papers inside, and then his brows burrowed deeply. The silence was surgical. Rashida's fingers curled slightly. Kirk shifted uncomfortably. The judge adjusted his glasses, flipped through page after page, then looked up. "Mr. Frost, would you like to explain these transactions?" Victor Malone scrambled for his notes. Kirk looked blindsided. "Your Honor, I don't know what's in that envelope." Jasmine turned around, face blank, tone lethal. "It's his signatures from 2 years ago. He's been paying another woman under a dummy LLC listed as client consultation, $4,500 monthly." Everyone turned to Kirk. "And the child?" the judge asked. Jasmine nodded. "The baby's 3 now. It's not mine." "But guess who's been hiding it from Rashida?" Boom! You could have heard a pin drop. Rashida's face didn't change. Not a muscle twitched. But her chest rose with one slow inhale. Not rage, not panic. Something colder. Tasha leaned in again. We want a 5-minute recess. Now. The judge, shaken, nodded. Granted. Courtroom emptied in seconds in the hallway. All hell broke loose. Cameras weren't allowed inside, but paparazzi and VH1 producers were ready and waiting in the lobby. As soon as Jasmine walked out, the flashes started. Jasmine, did you just accuse Kirk of hiding a third child? Kay, are you doing this for Rashida or against her? Is this baby tied to the Frost brand? Jasmine stopped, turned slowly to the cameras. I'm not here for clout. I'm here for truth. Rashida deserves to know who she really married. Then she walked away like she just detonated a bomb because she did. Inside the courthouse's private room, Rashida finally exhaled. But not in defeat, in confirmation. I knew it. She whispered. Tasha nodded. We've been following that LLC for 6 months. We just didn't have proof of the kid. Rashida sat up straighter. Well, now we do. And now we go for the jugular. Meanwhile, Kirk was in full meltdown mode back in the courthouse conference room. He slammed his fist on the table, shaking his head. She's lying. Jasmine's always had it out for me. Victor, trying to clean the mess, replied, They have. Banking statements, LLC transfers. If the kid's confirmed, that's child support plus fraudulent concealment. It could jeopardize your divorce settlement entirely. Kirk paced the room, breathing heavy. I thought I had this handled. Paid everyone. Victor cut in. Clearly, someone didn't stay bought. Outside, court officials prepared to resume. But Rashida wasn't waiting. She stood up, pulled out her phone, and made a call. Mom, yeah, it happened. Get the pressed ATL accounts separated today. Pull my image rights off any co-branded content. And tell Mona if Kirk's name shows. Up in next season's promo, I walk. She hung up. The storm had arrived and Rashida wasn't hiding under no umbrella. She was the lightning now. The courthouse air was different now. You could feel it. What was supposed to be a standard divorce proceeding had turned into something messier, louder, and way more dangerous than anyone expected. And the source of the chaos, Jasmine, she wasn't even supposed to be there, okay? Now she was the center of it all. As people filed back into the courtroom, whispers floated around like smoke. Even the court reporter couldn't stop glancing at Jasmine, who was now seated calmly in the back as if she hadn't just detonated a truth nuke. And Rashida, still poised, but something in her eyes had shifted. She wasn't there to fight. For her marriage, she was there to burn it to the ground, then salt the earth so nothing could grow in its place. The judge returned, adjusted his robe, and tapped the bench. Let's resume. Stacia Duvall stood up. Your Honor, based on the new evidence entered into record, which we now have verified copies of, we are requesting an emergency hearing to modify the divorce terms, including a freeze on all shared property tied to the Frost estate and the full disbursement audit of any financial activity over the past 3 years. Victor stood, scrambling. Objection. This material was entered without proper notice. We request time to review. The judge raised a hand. Mr. Malone, your client had every opportunity to be transparent. This is the second undeclared account, and now a potential paternity case that impacts financial distribution. Your objection is noted and overruled. Boom. Rashida didn't flinch. She leaned back, crossed her legs, and shot Kirk a look that said, try me again. Kirk, he looked like he aged 10 years in 5 minutes. But Jasmine wasn't done. Oh no. The judge cleared his throat. Is Ms. Washington still present? Tasha stood again. We'd like to call her to the stand briefly, with permission from the court, Your Honor. Victor exploded. This is insane. She's not a party to this divorce. But she's central to the hidden financial streams. Tasha snapped, and we have reason to believe she knows about more. That shut the room up. The judge nodded. Let's hear it. And just like that, Jasmine took the stand. Click, clack, click, clack. She walked with the kind of slow confidence only a woman holding secrets can carry. After being sworn in, she sat down, folded her hands, and stared straight ahead. Tasha began, "Ms. Washington, you testified earlier that you discovered payments made to a third party through an LLC. Yes. Was Kirk Frost aware those payments were traceable?" Jasmine smiled. "He didn't think I'd say anything. Why now?" Jasmine paused, looked at Rashida, then back to the judge. "Because I saw what he did to her and I realized I was next. You mentioned a child. Is this child Kirk Frost's?" "Yes, and he's known since the day the baby was born." Gasps rippled again. "Do you have proof?" She nodded, then pulled out her phone and held it up. "I have voice notes from Kirk saying it." The courtroom nearly collapsed. Even the judge looked shaken. Victor objected, but the damage was done. Jasmine continued. "He begged me not to say anything. Told me if Rashida found out, she'd take everything. Well, guess what? She deserves everything." Rashida stared, stone-faced, but her hand gripped the edge of the table like a vice. Outside the courtroom, chaos was erupting on social media. That moment the leaked voice note hit the internet, courtesy of a sneaky assistant in the hallway. Hashtags exploded. Hashtag Kirk Frost exposed. Hashtag Justice for Rashida. Hashtag Jasmine was right. Hashtag Jasmine was right. Hashtag LLHATL. Divorce Diaries fans were posting screenshots, quotes from the hearing, even memes of Kirk sweating under courtroom lights, and VH1 already editing next week's promo. Coming up on Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, Rashida finds out the real reason her marriage was doomed from the start. Inside, it wasn't just Kirk's reputation on the line now, it was his freedom. Because the financial disclosures Jasmine provided opened up a new door: tax fraud. If those LLC payments weren't disclosed, and if he claimed them under false pretenses, that's federal. That's prison time. Tasha flipped another folder open. "Your Honor, we now submit an IRS flag report. These funds weren't declared." Victor stood up. "Your Honor, we need time to respond." The judge banged his gavel. "Court is adjourned until next week, and Mr. Frost, you are hereby ordered not to move, conceal, or transfer any assets under penalty of law." Kirk's mouth dropped. Jasmine stood up, collected her bag, and walked out, not even looking back. Rashida. Finally, SMIRKED. In the hallway, Rashida stepped into the press circle. "Do you feel vindicated?" a reporter asked. "I feel free," she said. "Are you mad at Jasmine?" No. I'm mad I didn't believe her sooner." "What happens now?" Rashida looked dead into the camera. "Now, I take my life back. And he gets everything he's been hiding dragged into the light." She walked off, and behind her, a fourth woman was waiting at the courthouse steps, watching, texting, smiling. The cameras were waiting outside. The whispers had turned into tweets, the tweets into threads, and the threads into full-blown conspiracy videos. But inside that courtroom, a storm was still brewing, and nobody was ready for what came next. Because just as Rashida was stepping off the courthouse steps, another woman stepped forward. She wasn't a Love and Hip Hop cast member, not a stylist, not a known ex. But the moment she walked up and looked Kirk in the face, Rashida stopped in her tracks. This woman looked familiar, too familiar. "Excuse me?" Rashida said, clutching a white envelope. "Mr. Frost." Kirk turned slowly, hoping she was just handing him papers, maybe a fan. Maybe someone from the court. She wasn't. "I didn't know where to send this," she said. "So I figured I'd bring it to you myself." Then she dropped the envelope in front of the reporters, turned around, and walked away. Dead silence. Cameras zoomed in. Kirk reached down slowly, opened it, and visibly recoiled. Inside was a DNA test, dated, signed, with his name on it. And the name of a 4-year-old boy. Rashida looked over his shoulder, jaw locked. Another one, Kirk. He didn't respond. She snatched the paper from his hands, scanned it, again scoffed. "You were flying out to see this baby while telling me you were on business trips?" Oh. Reporters immediately surrounded the scene. Jasmine just steps away, shook her head and whispered to her cousin, "Told you he wasn't done lying." Kirk tried to regain his footing. "That's not what it looks like. Save it," Rashida interrupted. "This man will lie over a napkin if it meant keeping control." The new woman, now confirmed to be named Maya Lynette from Charlotte, posted to her Instagram story 10 minutes later, "I told y'all I was tired of being quiet. DNA don't lie. My son deserves to know who his father is, and apparently he ain't the only one." Kirk Frost has 4 trended within 30 minutes. Back inside, Rashida's legal team scrambled to file an emergency motion to expand the asset freeze. Because now this wasn't just about adultery, it was about long-term deception. And each new child meant more money, more lies, and more backtracking. The judge, reviewing the new bombshell as he prepared for the next hearing, reportedly said to his clerk, "This man might have just sunk his own ship." Meanwhile, VH1's production vans were circling the block like vultures. They begged Maya to come to set. A source from inside the network said, "We weren't planning this, but if she signs that waiver, it's a wrap for Kirk." Even Mona Skoyoung herself was spotted calling producers personally. Rashida wasn't just processing the betrayal, she was prepping for the kill shot by that evening. She had posted a clip to her Instagram. "I stayed silent for years, protected people who didn't deserve my peace. But now I'm done protecting. I'm building my empire without the lies behind her." A stylist arranging a brand new photo shoot setup caption, "New Rashida, new era, no Kirk." Her fans ate it up. The Shade Room reposted it within seconds. So did Hollywood Unlocked, TSR Teens, and Baller Alert. But the real moment that broke the internet was when Candy Burris jumped into the mess. Candy took to her Instagram live that night. "Listen, I don't normally get involved in people's relationships, but I told Rashida years ago that this man was shady. I saw some stuff back then that didn't sit right with me. And now, all I'm gonna say is, you reap what you sow." That's when Tiny Harris jumped in the chat. "Girl. And this ain't even half of it." Fans demanded to know what she meant. Some swore there was a rumor that Kirk had been at Magic City just 3 nights prior with yet another woman who was not Jasmine, Rashida, or Maya. Screenshots dropped. Blurry, but damning. A receipt showed a $2,800 bottle service bill with the name Frost Inc. Under the table, a girl tagged at Chaneltha1 posted, "He said I was the only one who knew his real stress." Boy, please. That's when Rashida did the unthinkable. She called a press conference. Yep, not a social media rant, not a cryptic tweet. A full press conference in a conference room she rented herself, standing at a podium, flanked by her lawyer and her publicist. Rashida delivered what the internet dubbed her Beyoncé lemonade moment. "I stayed because I believed in growth. I stayed because I thought loyalty mattered. I stayed because I didn't want my kids to see another failed Black family. But I'm not staying anymore. This marriage, it's not just over. It's being dismantled. Piece by piece, lie by lie, woman by woman." She paused, and for the record, "I don't hate any of the women who've come forward. I thank them, 'cause they gave me the final push I needed to let this man go. I never look back." Kirk didn't show his face for 2 full days. But then, late that Friday night, he dropped a Notes app apology to his Instagram.classic. "I never claimed to be perfect. I made mistakes. But I never meant to hurt the mother of my children. Ask for privacy as we navigate this difficult time." The comments section. "Ruthless. You wasn't asking for privacy at Magic City. Bro, this is your 87th mistake. How many kids you hiding in your basement? Not the Notes app apology again. You fumbled the realest woman on TV. Congrats. But Jasmine? She wasn't done either, because after Maya dropped the DNA papers, Jasmine dropped something worse. A full audio recording from Kirk talking about how he never loved Rashida the same way after season 6, how he only stayed for image, how he regretted letting Rashida run the brand, and how he had a backup plan in case she ever left. The final 10 seconds of the audio, Kirk laughing and saying she thinks she got power. But I'm the one with the money. Too bad that money's frozen. And too bad that audio clip just became evidence. The moment Jasmine's voice note went public, Rashida's lawyer downloaded it before the blogs could even finish posting. She didn't flinch. She didn't cry. She didn't tweet. She called an emergency strategy meeting because that recording, that wasn't just Kirk embarrassing himself. That was legal ammo. And Rashida finally had the smoking gun to go for everything, not just in divorce, but in business. He said, "What?" The judge reportedly asked during the next court motion that he stayed for image, Your Honor, that he didn't love her, that he had backup plans. Silence. Then the judge looked at Kirk, double quotes Mr. Frost. "Do you deny making these statements?" Kirk opened his mouth, closed it. It was cooked. Because now the conversation had shifted. It wasn't about who cheated or who left. It was about fraud, image manipulation, and hidden financial motives. And Rashida was ready to take it all the way by. The next morning, Rashida filed to amend her divorce petition again. This time, she requested full control of the brand, all household assets, and retroactive spousal compensation, based on Kirk's use of her image and emotional labor to build Frost Enterprises. In simple terms, if you used me to build your business, I want my back pay. And guess who showed up to testify in support of her? Jasmine. Yes, the same Jasmine that had nearly torn her and Kirk apart. But when the judge asked why she was there, Jasmine replied, "Because I'm tired of being used." 2. Kirk told me lies, used my name, hid behind me. But Rashida, she the only one who held that man down through it all. Hey, and she deserves better. Shock. Absolute shock. Even Rashida blinked in disbelief. But Jasmine kept going. "He played all of us. I was 23 when I met him. He said he was leaving Rashida. Never did. Then, when I got pregnant, he begged me to stay quiet. Told me the truth would ruin the brand. That brand don't belong to Kirk. It belongs to the woman who suffered through it." Kirk's legal team went into panic mode. They tried to get the voice recording suppressed, tried to label Jasmine's testimony as spiteful, even hinted that Rashida was weaponizing drama to ruin his reputation. But Rashida's lawyer shut it all down with one sentence. Kirk Frost's reputation ruined itself the day he decided to treat marriage like a PR stunt. And the judge, he agreed. He allowed the voice note. He accepted Jasmine's affidavit. And he scheduled a full audit of Frost Enterprises to trace every dollar Rashida helped generate. Meanwhile, streets were talking. Kirk memes flooded the internet. One viral tweet showed Kirk holding a diaper bag with the caption, "Another." One calling him daddy. Another clip mashed together all of Kirk's "I'm sorry" scenes from LHHATL over the years every season. Same face, same excuse, caption. "You can't spell consistency without Kirk." Even Love and Hip Hop made it meta. They dropped a teaser for the new season, next time on Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. "Jasmine, you don't know what he told me?" "Rashida, then tell me. Tell me a LL of it." Kirk blank stare fans were ready, but Rashida had one last trick up her sleeve, and she wasn't saving it for the show. She pulled the plug on Frost Bistro. Yes, the restaurant Kirk had poured money into for years. Gone. Why? Because according to new financial disclosures, he built it under Rashida's name and credit. She had every legal right to freeze, sell, or repurpose it, and baby chose closure. "I'm turning it into a new boutique space," Chu announced on Instagram Live. New clothes, new vibe, no mess attached. The comments exploded. Not the Frost Bistro turning into a Rashida retail empire, girl. Rename it the Divorce Diner and serve iced out heartbreak on a platter. Frost who? We supporting Rashida. Even celebrities chimed in. Toya Johnson reposted. The live writing, "Y'all play with Rashida if you want. She playing chess?" Meanwhile, Kirk tried to do damage control, He sat down with a low-budget podcast. Camera lighting was bad. The mic kept glitching, but he needed to speak. I made mistakes, but that doesn't mean I should lose everything I built. I was part of that journey too, but the internet didn't care. They clipped one quote where he said, "Jasmine shouldn't have leaked that," and turned it into a meme. Bro mad, the truth came out back at court. The financial audit was brutal. Turns out Rashida's signature had been forged on at least 3 business documents. Bank transfers were done without her knowledge. And one property, the one Kirk claimed he rented for studio sessions, was in Jasmine's name, with receipts, with photos. With IG location tags, he was done. Kirk finally snapped. He stormed out of court, shouted at producers, tried to grab a cameraman's equipment. Security had to escort him out. And Rashida. She just sat there, silent, then calmly pulled out her phone and posted this too. IG selfie with her team outside the courthouse. Caption, "You can lie for years, but the truth always shows up. In court, in recordings, in your own voice. I don't need revenge. I got receipts." And Jasmine liked the post, then commented, "And the truth looks good on you. Just when you think it couldn't go further," Carly Red dropped a teaser on her story. A clip of her sitting in front of a mic. "Since everyone exposing Kirk now, I guess I should speak my truth too." Coming this Friday, 8 p.m. live. Now fans are asking, wait, did Carly mess with Kirk too? No way! This man got this many women. At this point, we need a whole spin-off called Kirk's Kids. But one thing's clear, Rashida's not done cleaning house. Not by a long shot. By the time Friday rolled around, the internet was already counting down. Carly Red had promised receipts, and love and hip-hop fans don't play when a cast member whispers the word truth. 8 p.m. sharp. Carly went live. And baby. Started with a bang. No intro, no makeup chair. No filter. Just Carly, eyes red like she'd been holding this in for years. Sitting in a dimly lit room. You ever keep a secret so long it starts to rot you from the inside out? She said. Her followers climbed into the tens of thousands within seconds. The comment section was already wild. "Girl, drop the receipts already. If you say Kirk, I swear, Rashida is watching this." And then Carly pulled out a locked iPad, typed in a passcode, and played a recording. It was her voice and Kirk's laughter, moans, conversations too intimate to be mistaken, and then Kirk's voice clear as day. "You know, I can't leave Rashida, not with everything tied up under her name. But this right here, you my piece." Dead silence. Carly looked into the camera. "I was quiet out of fear. I thought I was the side piece, but turns out I was just one of many." The live exploded. Even the Shade Room screen recorded it before it could disappear. Carly, Red, and Kirk confirmed. And just like that, the courtroom exploded. Rashida wasn't even shocked, not anymore. At this point, the man could have been sleeping with her hairstylist and she wouldn't blink twice. But what Carly did next? That was shocking. She dropped a screenshot dated 2 years ago, the $6,500 payment from Frost Enterprises to AK Red Productions. "Carly, he paid me to keep quiet. Said it was a consulting fee, but it was hush money." Now Rashida's legal team had proof of corporate funds being used for personal affairs, which means embezzlement and embezzlement. That's not just grounds for divorce, that's grounds for criminal investigation. VH1 couldn't believe their luck. This wasn't just season material, this was network-shifting drama. Producers sent urgent emails. Cameras were rolling, new confessional schedules were made. Every cast member got a call. Be available. Story just took a turn. But behind the scenes, Kirk had vanished. His phone went to voicemail. Lawyers weren't responding. Even his barber posted, "Don't ask me nothing. I'm not involved." The last time he was seen publicly, he was getting into an SUV outside of Wells Fargo, wearing sunglasses, hoodie up, head down. And guess what? Rumors say he was trying to empty out a personal safe deposit box. too late, because Rashida's lawyer had already frozen all known assets. Then came the final blow. A fourth woman posted a TikTok that went viral within hours. She didn't name names, but she didn't have to. Imagine being told you were the only one, just to see him on TV crying over a wife he never stopped cheating on. The comments knew, "Oh, we talking about Kirk Frost again, huh? Someone go get Rashida. She needs popcorn for this one." But then the woman who goes by at Miss Tiff Official posted a second video. This time she showed a baby, and in the background, a framed photo with Kirk holding the child. Tiff's voice cracked. He told me it was over with Rashida, that he was done with TV, that I was different. And the worst part? The baby looked just like Kirk. Rashida didn't even respond publicly. She didn't have to, because the blogs were doing it for her fourth baby mama. Kirk might be the future of Atlanta. Kirk Frost reaches Nick Cannon levels. At this point, it's genetics. Rashida's divorce just turned into a fraud investigation, and Tiff. She filed her own child support case the next morning. That makes for Rasheeda Jasmine alleged miscarriage rumors swirling again. Tiff confirmed baby, with photo proof, each story stacking like Jenga blocks, and everyone waiting for it to collapse. Now, let's talk about Rashida's next move, because she wasn't sitting in no corner crying no ma. She showed up to court the following week in a red power suit, with her mother and the new CEO of press by her side. Yes, she replaced Kirk. "This isn't just my divorce," she told the press outside. "This is my Declaration of Independence." Cameras flashed, fans screamed, and behind her, a banner with her new business slogan, Rashida, no lies, no limits, no man in the way. Carly showed up late, but hugged Rashida outside. "It should have never taken this long." Rashida simply nodded. "I'm not mad anymore. I'm just focused." Meanwhile, Kirk, still silent. No response. No statement. But sources say he's shopping for a Talal interview with a podcast. And word on the street is he might try to blame it all on producers manipulating his image. Boy, if you don't, regardless, this ain't ending quietly. The judge just granted Rashida preliminary full ownership of all business ventures until the investigation concludes. She also gets exclusive rights to all assets created during the marriage, unless Kirk can prove they were funded independently, and with all these payments to mistresses leaking, you can't prove a damn thing. And now fans are begging for Rashida to host a reunion, not of Love and Hip Hop, but of every woman Kirk ever betrayed. A truth table with mics and wine and receipts. And the way this going, VH1 just might do it. The final court date arrived like a season finale. Not a single camera was allowed inside, but you could feel the electricity in the air from blocks away. Outside the courthouse, a crowd, fans, paparazzi, bloggers, even rival reality TV stars came to see it all go down. It felt less like a divorce and more like a coronation. Rashida stepped out of her car first, dressed in all white, not wedding white. Victory white. Her walk was calm, her hair flawless. Beside her, her lawyer, her mother, her business partner, and not a single tear in sight. Inside the courtroom, Kirk finally showed up, but not with confidence. His face looked sunken. His voice cracked when he said, "Good morning." Suit didn't even look ironed. That man looked like regret wrapped in fabric. And then the judge spoke. After reviewing all presented evidence, testimonies, and financial records, this court is ready to render its decision. Everyone held their breath. The court grants the petitioner, Rasheeda Buckner Frost, full dissolution of the marriage and assigns sole ownership of Pressed Inc., all retail assets and the Atlanta boutique to the petitioner. Boom! You could hear gasps echo. Furthermore, Mr. Frost is to pay retroactive spousal support and legal fees related to fraudulent concealment of marital assets. Rashida didn't flinch, but Kirk's eyes bloodshot red. Lastly, the court reserves judgment regarding allegations of business Embezzlement pending results of the ongoing investigation. Mr. Frost, you are not to liquidate, transfer, or access any joint account not cleared by the court. Done. Rashida had won everything, but the real moment. It came when the judge asked, formally, Ms. Buckner Frost, would you like to make a final statement for the record? Rashida stood up, cleared her throat. Yes, Your Honor, I do. She turned to face Kirk slowly, deliberately. I believed. In you. I built with you. I forgave you more than any woman should. If I won't be another woman who sacrifices herself in silence. This isn't revenge. This is restoration. Then she turned to the judge. Thank you. That's all. No clapback. No curse words. Just calm power. Boss energy. The court adjourned. Papers were signed, but Rashida didn't leave quietly. She walked out the courthouse straight into a mini press conference waiting on the steps. Cameras swarmed. Questions flew. Rashida, do you have any message? For Kirk. She stopped, smiled softly. Yeah, thank you. For showing me what I deserved all along. Then she turned and walked away. No tears, no breakdown. Just Rashida. Free later that evening, a clip went viral. A new ad dropped. Rashida had it queued up and ready to go the moment her divorce was finalized. The video opens on a black screen with text. She lost a marriage. Cut to Rashida strutting through the empty pressed boutique like a runway, but gained a brand new logo. New slogan, pressed, built by pain, powered by purpose. The ad wasn't just a flex. It was a reset. And baby, the internet ate IT up. This how you divorce and rebrand at the same time. Beyonce got lemonade. Rashida got receipts. She pulled a Shiara prayer for business women. Even celebrities chimed in. Tamar Braxton, that part sis. Angela Simmons, secure it all. Tiny Harris, you did that, girl. And just when people thought it was done, Rashida posted a final Insta story. This chapter. Closed, but the book ain't over. Meanwhile, Kirk, he went live the next day. But it wasn't what fans expected. He didn't fight back. Didn't blame producers. Didn't play victim. He sat in a room, dark hoodie on, barely looking. At the camera, I messed up. I lost the only woman who ever really had my back. I can't fix it, but I won't deny it either. He ended the live after 2 minutes. No comments, no music. Just shame. And that was that. No more posts. No more public appearances. Kirk Frost had finally been silenced by his own scandals. Rashida, though, she moved fast within 2 weeks. Pressed launched a divorce collection. The boutique went viral again. She announced a book deal, The Frost That Broke Me, and signed a new VH1 spin-off series with Jasmine. Carly Red. Attached, yup, you heard that? Right? Enemies turned co-stars. The press release said it best. 3 women. 1 messy man. A billion-dollar brand. And no regrets. Working title, pressed reset. And Twitter lost its mind. Jasmine, Rashida, and Carly Kirk, about to pass out. This the revenge tour we needed. It's better than Housewives. It didn't take long for Rashida to address it. She posted one final message. Forgiveness doesn't mean silence, means closure. And this series is me closing the chapter on my terms. The trailer is expected to drop next month, and fans already pre-ordered the merch, the book, and the T-Dot. As for Kirk, rumor has it he's writing his own memoir. Working title, Frostbitten. But let's be honest, ain't nobody reading that mess. One thing is clear, though. This wasn't just a breakup, it was a broadcast, a blueprint, a public transformation, and Rashida. She proved that when a woman finally puts herself first. No man, no betrayal, no bank account can stop her. Phew. This was a movie. From Jasmine crashing the courtroom to Rashida snatching back her brand and dignity, we just witnessed one of the most iconic moments in love and hip-hop history. And if you thought this was the end, baby, we're just getting started. Rashida's pressed reset spinoff is coming, and the trailer alone might break the internet. Jasmine and Carly are back in the mix. And we got exclusives dropping soon that'll have y'all screaming. So don't just watch in silence, hit that like. Subscribe and turn on that notification bell because the next chapter is already in motion and, we covering it first. Tell us in the comments, was Jasmine messy for showing up? Or was she the hero we didn't know we needed? Let's debate. Let's get messy. Let's keep it pressured.